right.
Doing
check,
work.
check. Microphone, check one. Check, check. Thrifty Senpai, missing that charm. Yeah. Check, check. Can I be heard on stream?
Cross my
Can't
fingers.
hear you.
Can't? Well, I'm putting it through.
We
Okay.
can hear.
User
Good.
left your
Tree,
channel.
You're freaking me out. All right, a lot to talk about that just happened. A double kill going over to Ghost, and then
Is 30 back?
yeah, 30's definitely back. I mean, he then called for an awesome dragon, which they picked up quite handily. 30's back, and he's asserting his dominance. Looks like Scotch died early. He's down 20 CS now. I wish I could see how many stacks he's got, but it's just the way she goes.
That it is. So, overall, on the whole map here, we're looking at a 1,000 gold lead for TDO, who have substantial leads in both of their side lanes. However, there's a guy, his name's Thrifty Senpai. He's playing a Foxy lady, and he is coming up into the top lane to maybe turn this into a 3 versus 2. Epic down there, he's holding onto the ult, and there it is! Right as Thrifty Senpai turns the corner. Kill onto Thermidor. Now they are looking to maybe tower dive the purple pickle pie. A nice take on his Scotch, but not quite enough damage. But this is going to be a ton of damage on the tower.
Yeah, I really think they could have dove that, but they just weren't.
Oh, and in the spot lane, on the hunt, depth charge, Chris Yoni-chan is getting fucked up on the outskirts of this fight, but a good turn onto Takusama, who pops an awful solar flare. It does nothing. He goes down. Third kill of the game for Ghost 32.
I don't know what he was trying to do with that ult. Like, stop the Sivir auto animation?
He was
Like, what
hoping
are you doing?
Sivir would keep running at him, but Sivir was already in auto range.
That's silly.
And this is going to turn into my favorite type of SBL game, where there are massive players on both teams, and it comes down to who can carry harder.
Heads up.
Yeah.
Because this gold difference is only 400 gold right now, which is just that one of those kills. But the gold is allocated in such different places between these two teams. You know, that's a 1,100 gold lead for Thrifty Senpai, but about 1,000 gold lead for Ghost 32. Top lane is actually a bit closer than you would expect,
Yeah,
mainly
I'm
because of that
surprised
tower
seeing
gold
that
on
here.
Scotchanauts. It's about, 300 gold in the top lane. And Purple Pickle Pie is currently freezing his lane. Yes, Purple Pickle Pie is currently freezing his lane. So that gold gap is going to grow a bit. He's doing this very intelligently. And I'm curious to see if 2K2S has an answer to that, because you don't want Nasus to be losing farm for a prolonged period here.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they took that tower so early with a Nasus. I mean, you would want to drag that
I
lane
think
up.
it was a good play, but they needed to set the wave up better, which they did not do at the tail end there. Because I personally believe you should 100% of the time, if you can take the tower, take the tower.
Yeah, but now...
But they needed to set up a lane that was pushing back at them, which you can do 100% of the time reliably if you understand how creeps work.
Yeah, you don't want to be where that creep wave is if you're Nasus. So, I mean, I guess just resort to stacking on the jungle creep. As inefficient as that is.
So we'll see where he roams after. Maybe he'll go and try and get some sieging in on this mid lane, force power dive on his
just go down
Werbs.
on Herald, so they may try to take the Herald buff. We'll see what they do. Or maybe they'll just do the old stand by a group mid and push the tower as hard as you can until somebody dies.
Yeah, Purple Pickle Pie still has not broken this freeze. This creep wave will keep pushing at him for as long as he wants it to. And that's going to turn into a massive EXP advantage, more so than just a CS advantage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He'll be able to essentially just drop in with teleport wherever his team needs him and do some work.
And this, what Purple Pickle Pie is doing right now, is a top laner's wet dream. This is mine.
Yeah, getting free farm and just hanging out with all
Knowing
your
the
creep
enemy
buds.
team is only getting resources out of 2 of the 3 lanes and has nothing they can do about it, And they're not doing anything about it. You know, they haven't brought extra bodies over there to bounce that wave off the turret.
Although
I mean, the
like
creeps are finally pushing in Purple Pickle Pie's favor now, but that was just so long.
Yeah, what was that? 2, maybe 3 minutes of just free farm?
Yeah.
Like, and against a Nasus. I mean, that says it all.
Yeah. Sundari Scotch currently sitting on... God, that icon is so hard to read. 177 stacks.
Okay. Yeah, it just shows 17 on mine.
Yeah, if you mouse over, it'll show definitively.
30 getting another hook. Not taking them this time.
That Leona's a hell of a lot squishier than 30's Nautilus is.
Yeah. Gosh, I just want to point out, before Nasus gets to that creep wave, there's now a 60 CS difference in the top lane, just based off of that one freeze.
Yeah, that's a lot. And now we see maybe a flank going on, and there's a nice depth charge, turns onto Friscioni, and it's a flash from the down. He exhausts on his Zaku-sama, and a nice spell shield on the Enchanted Pistolero, and once again the Solar Flare with, and here comes the bomb! Does not pick up a kill.
Dang. Gosh, that was 2 bot and support both blew their ultimates, and they just did absolutely nothing. That was an excellent spell shield out of Ghost.
TDO going to turn that fight into their second dragon of the game, so they're stacking these dragons up fast, which is a good thing to be doing against the Nasus comp, who is currently freezing this top lane as hard as he can as well. So, but now that Purple Pickle Pie is playing on the map, they're just forcing pressure around. They easily take this mid lane tower.
I want to point out, Thermidor is already sated at 17 minutes, which is pretty big.
Yeah, this was a perfect few minutes of plays out of TDO. And this is what you do when you take the enemy tower. You now have a chance to roam on the map and create pressure. What did Scotch not do when he couldn't go to top lane? He just farmed jungle camps. He created 0 pressure the entire time Purple Pickle Pie was freezing. The second Purple Pickle Pie had that lane pushing hard, he roams, he grouped with his team at the right time, they coordinated, and this just looks like a 30 team all of a sudden. Look at how they had 5 guys in the mid lane. When the mid lane was pushing, it was low. This was just a great 2 or 3 minute exchange. And TDO is suddenly looking like they are in the driver's seat of this game.
Blue team's turret
especially with that early sated on Shyvana.
Yeah,
Quickly somebody going to do a good job of answering with something, but that's still ultimately 2 towers mid traded for 1.
Yeah, and Purple Pickle Pie is just going to be able to push this out with, I mean, he already has Titanic Hydra, first item. He's going to be able to split push to his heart's content, essentially. Or not even split push, just have so much wave clear.
And look at this, once again, playing the waves properly. This is 4 members of TDO showing up against 3 in this bot lane, as Thrifty Senpai is essentially off the map.
Nasus does have, but no mana to follow.
So does Purple Pickle Pie, though.
Yeah, yep.
But nope, they're not going to opt for it. It was a little risky. But this could turn into a duel in the top lane. Scotchknot wants to bounce this wave, but he's got to be so scared. Purple's not trying to freeze here, so not going to turn into much. So that CS lead was cut a bit there with Scotch's counter freeze. We're down to about a 40 CS creep advantage. I mean, that was a substantial cut on the lead, but it is still a big lead for Purple Pickle Pie.
Yeah, Therm has 2 really big items. He's already sated with the Dead Man's Plate. You're not getting away from that dragon if he's got you in his sights.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Thrifty Senpai to make Thermidor's life, you know, not so pleasant in these fights. And man, I think we're going to see a tower dive in this top lane. Thermidor and Swerve showing up. They forced Scotch pretty deep on the tower, and they're going to just settle for taking the tower, so 2 of the 3 outers down for TDO.
Meanwhile, they try to pull the same thing bot, and they just nicely walk into lane 2K2S and see if they might be able to get put it on siege to hit that tower. Oh my god.
Jesus, Scott's taking so much damage. Use the tower down, but 50% by used by flashes, but taunt, and he is ulting out.
Jeez,
and
that
that's
was
going to
so
turn
much
into a
damage.
second tier 2 tower for TDO. And now the hook on the first the only shot again. This time the solo player is going to do something. A nice all out of everything out there. They are now engaging, but missing the dash in on the ghost. To stop that fight.
Gosh, 2 ults blown, and they were both, one of them was spell shielded. They're just able to, 30 and Ghost are just able to play that so well. I mean, that was a 2v3 that they just easily avoided. Gosh, I want to talk about how much damage Purple Pickle Pie put out on the Scotch. That was
ridiculous.
Yeah. I would be quaking in my boots if I was Nasus right now.
And I bet he was, because there's a point, especially in top lane, there are just points in games where sometimes you think you know where you're at with your matchup, and then you take a bad trade and you're like, oh, they can deal that much damage. But in the meantime, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow on a Ghost who looks like he was about to have a bad time. 50 Senpai does get zoned out on the flank here, though, and this is going to be a straight 3 versus 3 in the open field. 50 Senpai dashing and gets a taunt onto Purple, who is not taking that much damage. 50 did ignite Purple Pickle Pie for some reason. And actually, a nice turn. Zig's ultimate going to miss on his a number advantage. Sorry, 4 versus 4. Scott's not the first to teleport in. The first kill trundle onto Leona, and now Zworb is here to put on a lot of damage. He gets a kill on the Epic down there. They're chasing down Frisky Oni-chan with no tower to defend him. Looks like he's going to be the next to fall. It's Frisky Senpai running like hell to make it out of this one. And that is going to be 0-4-4 in favor of Think Twice Die One, who are not even going to lose the top lane tower because Purple Pickle Pie is there to match.
That was so excellently played. And then I wanted to point out, 30 gets out with maybe 10 health. Just an excellent show of tanking out of him on Nautilus. That was so
30
well
back?
played. He's hey man, I don't know if you've heard yet, but 30's back. 30's back on the support, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, everybody watch out.
No, what? It hasn't just been 30 this game either.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I love to me, but this team has just played excellent around it. And you know who's not playing excellent now, though, is Zworb, who gets stunned as he jumps out. Scott's not going to try to get some stacks here, and not going to get them, but he is going to get a kill. But
Meanwhile,
a 3rd dragon of the game going to TDO, who should be in a fine position to hold from taking any serious damage in their base.
Yeah, that's 3rd dragon at 23 minutes. They're really lining up for a 5th dragon early here.
Yeah, and that is a great win condition to have versus a Nasus team.
Yeah.
And this game is looking like your stereotypical bad Nasus game. I mean, Scott has not been able to have impact in anything. He's wanting to teleport into these fights, but he just doesn't have the farm to.
The team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah.
A nice turret take out of 2K2S, though. That was big. You know, they need everything they can on this map to stall this game out. And a lot of worse teams would be so scared to take something while they had a man advantage. So that was big before they had to go and farm their side lanes. But they're still down 6,500 gold.
But I mean, I feel like I say this every week. It's gold doesn't matter when you take it late, and both of these team comps really want to take it late. So if they do play for that 5th dragon,
I don't think they will play for that 5th dragon. It's just there's an additional option.
Okay.
Remember, one of the big changes to Dragon is, you know, the 4th dragon now makes you take 20% reduced damage from turrets. And Frisky Oni-chan might actually be dead here. Purple Pickle Pie with a good pillar.
Yeah, able to bait
Now,
out
looks like
that
the
ult.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow gonna stop the chase, as there were a lot of members of 2K2S there on the flank. But no, so the most important time to have that 4th dragon is when you want to take enemy inhibitor turrets, because those are the most difficult to die. And we're only, 4 minutes away from 20% reduced damage from turrets that will give this TDO team with a Trundle, a Shyvana, and a Nautilus, along with the Sivir speed, a lot of opportunities to just dive these inhibitor towers and close this game out. which they are definitely taking enough to do.
Yeah, they're going to be able to keep this siege up for a long time. I mean, they
And
just
actually, Thermidor solo took the mid-inhibitor turret when he was just not being respected as a solo pusher.
I think
That
Nasus
is
was just up
so
farming top instead of defending. Trying to catch up in that creep, but gave up
And
the mid.
that cracks the space open for the TDO team that has a huge lead. And now the playbook is wide open on what they want to do about this game.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what direction they choose to take it. I see 30 walking over to Baron. He might try to start setting up some wards for this Baron take. But they haven't taken mid-inhib yet, so they don't have that super advantage. They're just going to start it.
Yeah, Axe in the bot lane. She has no way of getting here.
She does
TDO
have
is going to prioritize a fight here. Yeah, this is a little risky. No, actually, there was enough space that this wasn't an issue. A nice secure. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to miss. And now, oops, Warp gets chunked out, but 2K2S not going to commit to a chase here. And that is Baron Nashor for free for TDO. And this is about to get messy.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do whatever they want. They can 5-man down the mid lane and go for the open inhibitor. They could have Trundle or Shyvana split push in the side lane while the rest of the team goes down mid lane. They could have Trundle and Shyvana split push while 3 men go down the mid lane. I mean, these are all good options for the power level they have.
Yeah. If I know 30 shot calling, I think they're gonna try to do a 1-4 or a 1-3-1 with this advantage. But gosh, I don't know why they just don't. I think they could honestly just group mid and end the game right now. I mean, I play this.
That's
game
a possibility if they get a fight.
And they have a lot.
And
of
50
momentum.
Senpai is running for his life after his big start. Meanwhile, the TDO team going to push down on this mid inhibitor. And here comes the desperation fight. A two-man solo players. Ghost gets a nice open. Ghost flashes, but because one hits nothing. Scott is being kited. He is dealing nothing on this fight. Scott got the first victim to his work. Meanwhile, Thermidor is zoning out everyone on 2K2 left. A ton of damage comes out as the rest of the team gets here. That is two members down, an inhibitor down, and a chance to close this game out entirely while Epic and Scott are dead. And that is what they are going for right here. Thrifty Senpai gonna need to play this life to stop this one, but he is dying under the next turret. Kill the 30. Saku is going to be the next to fall as these Nexus turrets go down. And after a technical delay, fuck that. TDO comes back swinging so hard after their loss next week. And what was a gigantic win over a good-looking team.
Hey Swift.
Yeah?
Do you think 30's back?
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, man, 30's back on support. I am so hyped up. This season just took a left turn into awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying in the middle of that game, I thought everyone on TDO played phenomenally that game. But to me, we have to bring 30 in here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, without a doubt.
my other choice is going to be Purple Pickle Pie.
Yes. Okay, I 100% agree. Bring him in here.
Which ones?
30
Purple
and
and
purple.
30 going to be dropped
User
into
was
this channel.
moved to your
and
channel.
Here comes
User
30,
was moved
and
to
here
your
comes
channel.
Purple into the SBL casters booth. Congratulations, gentlemen. Purple, I'm going to be upfront with you. We're probably going to ask you like one question and spend a lot of time talking to 30 here. So, Purple, let's start with you. Before the remake, you just kind of brutalized Scotch at level 1 in the first game, and then you had a remake, and I said, well, you know, Scotch is going to probably know a little more what to expect in this lane.
Yeah.
And nope, that was not the case. Scotch did not adjust. You brutalized him early. You brutalized him often. You had one of the most beautiful lane freezes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
how are you feeling about that matchup in top lane? Because there's been a lot of hype around Scotchnaut the past few weeks, and I feel like the purple pickle pie hype train had kind of come off the rails a little bit.
after you beating me, yeah, you kind of gave me a whooping. But I practiced enough Trundle and other tanks, and I was very comfortable playing Trundle into whatever came out, and I felt like it fit our play style. And then our communication this game, which I'm sure you guys are going to get to, was superb, and my freezing of the top lane was beautiful. I felt so.
Yeah,
All right.
that freeze, I think it went on
I
for
agree.
like 3 minutes. That was a beautiful
The
freeze.
strategy side of top lane, you were miles ahead of Scotch on, and it was as a top laner, it was a lot of fun to watch.
Thank you, thank you.
So, 30.
Hey 30, I got a question for you. Are you back?
I'm back.
All right, folks, you heard it from the man himself. So, what was the decision making like when you decided to switch back to support? Was that something that kind of you put forward, or was that maybe something your team thought you should do?
Well, for the first 4 weeks, my team was incredibly supportive, and I was the only doubter, really. But everyone's like, "No, dude, you're good. Like, you're Lucian and Quirky. They're like so good." And I didn't believe that. I think they were just trying not to hurt my feelings. I think I am a good AD carry player, but like I can't concentrate enough on the AD carry part. Like I don't care about that. I care about like the macro thing. So I like in the mid game, I never clear waves really well. Like I'm really down in CS, and I'm only good at the laning phase. So I decided we needed the shot calling back, and I just needed to focus on the macro. And I think Ghost actually was the last one, right? I think it was like a day after last week. He was like, "Hey, how about we switch roles?"
Yeah.
And
I agree
once it
with
was
the
brought up
switch.
officially, was that just kind of a no-brainer for the team? Like,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, we had
yeah,
nothing else.
Why didn't we do that yet?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's the first round robin, so like, why we should really try it now, like, and solidify that before going into the second half of the season.
Yeah, well, I mean, it certainly worked for you. I don't know. I feel like there's been some people who've been saying that you should switch to support a little bit sooner, but I don't want to name names or anything.
Yeah, I can't nail them down either.
So,
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know, was a big part of this decision your guys lost last week? Because you guys did not look like you had a whole lot of life in that game. Like, do you think if you guys had won last week that this switch might not have happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a pretty good chance. All I remember
You guys
last
give us a
week
beat.
is me and Ghost. Like, finally got Lucian, which is like I think my strongest AD carry, and I did really well against Salvo and Tree. And there were some calls made in the early game that I wasn't a part of, and like it went downhill pretty fast. And so when it came to the part where I could like maybe concentrate on shot calling, I think it was a little too far gone. So yeah, honestly, yeah, you're right. If we would have won last week, then I think would have been still playing AD carry, but I guess it's good we lost because I'm having a lot more fun. The game is way better from this role.
Yeah, I mean, you looked. You were not a great AD carry. You looked like a great support on this
I just
side.
want to go on record and say your team should have tried to hurt your feelings and knock you off of the AD carry. Like you just played support like build. I'll play Ashe and like throw some slows in there or something. But
I
like
mean,
Nautilus,
you
you're
looked
like
good
stuck
because-
on my big Nautilus dick. I'm gonna be CC in your face. And Nautilus, these tanky supports that you play just suit your playstyle so well. They flowed into 3 easy-ass dragon takes. The shot calling was amazing. This whole game, I was just super impressed with your team. And I said it early. I think you guys are going to be contenders in the championship. Kind of calling it early, but if you guys play how you played this game, I don't see a lot of teams stopping you.
I
So,
agree.
Let me just ask one bigger picture question here. After this third and final game of the night is over, midnight or so, you guys are going to be involved in a 3-way tie for second place at 3-2, a single game ahead of Boosted Friendship and a single game behind either Waifu Superstar or Baddie Bargain Bin. How do you feel about the playoff race going forward? Because obviously all of those teams have looked very competitive, and one of those teams can't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that gets a question for both of you.
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously we haven't played a lot with this lineup, like we're me on support and Ghost on AD carry, but after we switched early on, like after last week, all of our games have been incredibly clean. Shot calling is so on point. Our macro game is like almost impeccable. It's really just a matter of like we misplay mechanically, which I think we're pretty good at not doing. So I think we have. I feel pretty good going into the playoffs, or in that race at least. Purple.
Agreed. You said it perfectly. I think that especially after today, and if we get more practice on this, that we'll succeed and we will be one of the top 4 teams to make it to playoffs.
All right, well, you guys heard it here first. This team confirmed for playoffs. So we are going to cut over to Game 3 real fast. We'll be back in a moment. Appreciate everyone sticking with us through all the delays. Our goal is none in this game, so we will see how that goes.